I can tell when I'm in alignment how he's been such a good indicator for me. And I've been learning so much because I can tell when I'm in alignment how I feel different and things are pleasing. And when I'm not, I know it's me. I don't blame him for that. How do I know if it's also just thank you for all your clarifying moments and, a stepping stone to move on to the next thing?
It's an important question, and a lot of people are asking the same question about a lot of different things, whether it's a personal relationship or a place that they live or an environment where they work. How do I know when to move on? And this is such an easier thing to understand than most realize. Just make sure that you move on from a state of being satisfied, not from a state of being dissatisfied. Because if you're moving from alignment, then you're always moving to what you're looking for. If you're moving from dissatisfaction, you're just changing places and faces, but you're moving into the same thing with more momentum going.
So that was what I was worried about. So I've been trying to get into alignment and saying, I don't want to just move on to the next thing because then I'm just going to attract more of the same.
But you see, here's the thing, you're getting ahead of yourself in the sense that why are you thinking so much about where you're going next rather than about how satisfied you are now? All of your power is right now. And so when someone speaks as you're speaking, usually what they mean is, well, I've already decided that I'm getting out of here and I just need to know when to make my move. And we say, under those conditions, there's never a good time because you're not ever going to move very far away from. And so if you can decide that you're going to find satisfaction where you are by using your ability to focus and by using the process of meditation or appreciation or whatever feels good to get your vibration into that higher place where you are in sync with your inner being. Are there other relations out there that could potentially please you? Yes, in every single case. People are so afraid that they're missing the big one, that what if I just settle for this that is less satisfying and then I miss what I'm really capable of having relative to that? And we say, if you come into vibrational alignment with who you are, you'll be inspired moment by moment by moment by moment by moment to receive the best that life can offer to you. Don't worry about that. But if you're looking to someone else to fill in all the gaps, if you're looking for someone else to be the perfect one that just makes your heart sing just by observing, then you're sort of missing the whole point of what creation is and about what life is and about what the potential for satisfaction is. Yeah. We'd stay put and would look for reasons to feel good. And if there aren't really obvious reasons relative to the relationship, we would change the subject to other things that are satisfying until we are pretty sure that we have managed to be in large measure in a state of satisfaction, because you just can't maintain that for very long before things begin to unfold. And usually what happens is you find the depth and richness of the people that are up close to you. And once you accomplish and maintain this state of connection with who you really are, then you just begin to find the buried treasures right there where you were, rather than looking and looking and looking and looking in other places for them. There was a reason that you came together to begin with, and that original coming together reason is usually a very good one. We tease you all a little bit. You come together and you say, you can feel some attraction, and what it's about is usually you were more in alignment and following impulses, and there you are and you feel the excitement of it, and then you say, tell me about yourself. And then they go back 5, 10, they go back and they dig up things that they think you might find significant. Yeah, I was in this accident and I broke my toe over there, and trying to give you all the high points. And for most people, the high points are the dramatic points. And then often in that even very early encounters, there begins to be a diminishment in the relationship between that person and their inner being, just like there begins to be a diminishment in the relationship between you and your own inner being. And so at best, you are, most often as humans, we love you so much, two people coming together, not experiencing the benefit of your wholeness, just sort of banging it out in a sort of disconnected way, and then not feeling all that good because you're not in the resource, you're not being refreshed in the way that you would be if you were in alignment, and then blaming each other for it not being that great. And we say it can only be as great as you are, and when you're in alignment, it will improve. It will improve.
It's not about his alignment, it's only about mine.
Well, it's about both, but you can't do anything about his except influence it from yours. But most people, you don't try to improve someone else's alignment. When you're in alignment, you're usually mad at them for not behaving in a way that makes it easy for you to be in alignment. If you just be different, you'd be perfect.
I have another question. I'm going on the Brian Weiss workshop. I know what you say about past lives, but I also know what you say about being in alignment and bringing past experiences and changing the past in the present. And I do understand the value of being in the now, but is there value in getting into that deep, focused, meditative state and remembering from past lives or projecting into future lives for the current life that here and now?
If you heard us not encouraging you to go back 20 years, then there is something important to say about this, however, and that is that this is the easiest thing for you to hear. You don't really know whose past life you're getting.
It doesn't matter
when you tap back into that. But one thing is always true. It is a vibrational match to where you now are. If you're all tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you begin to receive something, it's got to be a vibrational match to where you are. And if it isn't, it's not the past life that is the problem, it's where you are now that is. And so too often people use those processes to justify where they are now, which is not pleasing to them. Because someone who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on is moving forward, not looking back.
But that's what
we know that people think that they need that kind of insight in order to get it, but there's no bottom. There's just no bottom. So you just have to decide what vibration you want to activate and which one you want to keep active.
So it's about your intention when you're going into that place. Can you get insight from being in that place that will change your reality, your current reality?
Well, the answer to that has to be yes, because there is potential for insight everywhere. And anywhere you go from your state of absolute connection, you will receive insight. That's why we say we don't know if you're getting your past life or someone else's. In other words, let's say you are feeling pretty vulnerable and not strong, and so you find your way into some past lives that are like that. And you say, well, no wonder I'm like this now, because that's what I've had going on. And we say, well, that was helpful. Or let's say that you're all tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You've been meditating, you're high on life, you're moving forward, and what you tap into is exhilarating stuff like that. So our question to you is, do you think it could be equally productive, we think way more productive, to find your alignment and move forward as you've intended, rather than find your alignment and look back? And in any case, what you're finding is simply a vibrational match to where you are, period. Someone will say, well, I was sexually assaulted in this life, and then in my past life regression, there happened then, and then, and then, and then, and then, and then, and then. And that's when we say, we don't know. Nobody knows. You don't know if you're getting your past lives. You're just getting evidence of where you are right now. How informative is that? That might be insightful.
I'm a physical therapist, and I know that to be of service of other people, I have to be in alignment with myself. And I do find sometimes that I'm limited in terms of, I understand that the source of things is more spiritual. So I guess I've just been looking for different ways of being able to be in alignment with myself, and then of being service to other people who might not be there, their readiness to hear the information, and what tools I could use.
Well, you're right about that. When Esther began receiving us, and then she'd hear of other things, and she'd say, Abraham, why are they lying, or why are they doing it that way? And we said to her on many occasions, if everyone were in the same place, then there would only be one teacher. There are lots of different places where lots of different people are. We just want you to know that your power. As you're leaning in the direction of that and feeling the wonderful, gratifying satisfaction that comes from that, then you are allowing yourself to be as whole as life has caused you to be. And that is really, really something, you see. We suppose if someone were really at the beginning of understanding and really was lost in their now, that maybe they might find some clarity in where they stand now by believing that they're understanding where they've been before. But your power is all right here and now. When you are driving your car, you're looking forward, hopefully, through the windshield, not in the rear view mirror. And even though your now is powerful, we don't even encourage a windshield in the floorboard. That's a little hard to watch. We encourage you to look out there and find the satisfaction. Yes? Yeah.
How can I speak to and be of service to others of where they're at? Because I really get this law of attraction, and I really want to help people. And I get frustrated with my patients that they're complaining about pain and complaining about that. And I know it's me being frustrated with myself. So I've taken myself out during the day.
Here's the thing, especially if you're interacting with others, because what you observe can be a big factor in the way you feel. And you can't say to all of them, get yourself all fixed up and then come on in and then we'll have a nice conversation. It's about accomplishing your vibrational atmosphere, which means it's about you tuning to your inner being so that you're looking at them through the eyes of source. And when you're looking at them through the eyes of source, you don't feel frustration. Their inner being doesn't feel frustration. So it's taking it in small doses and being sure of where you are. We think, and you'll hear more about this today as we move forward, we think that this process or focus or intention about just acknowledging, is this a satisfying thought or not, will prepare you. It will put you into a place where you're steadily there. It's like you gain really good shock absorbers so that what you know about them is not jeopardized by what they think they know. Because when they're coming to you, they're trying to explain to you why they are where they are. And you don't want to put emphasis on where they are, because where they are is not where they want to be. And yet it's a sort of human tendency. You've learned it since you got here. It's not your non-physical nature to justify where you are by explaining how you got there. And it's just a law that we cannot speak often enough, and it speaks to your first question too. You just cannot give your attention to unwanted things without continuing to maintain a hindering vibration that would prevent you from going where you want to go. And your frustration is not with them. Your frustration is that in your attention to them, you've deviated from your inner being's point of view of who they are. When you feel frustration, it's not at them, it's at your inability to see where they're going. Instead, you're seeing where they are. And anybody that's looking right at where somebody is can't help them do anything except stay where they are.
So how do I help them and help myself to help them to focus on where they're going, because they just want to talk about what is?
But you see, you're missing the point. It has nothing to do with them. It has only to do with you. You reach that place where when you see them, you just know so fully that it's going to be okay, that where they are doesn't bother you. And then you don't feel this desperation to figure out some way to do it differently. You just know it's going to be okay. And you're glad for the life they've lived, and you're happy about what's in their vortex, and you know that it's going to be all right. And you just stand in that knowing. And when you're in that knowing, then what's inspired to you, the timing of your words and the words themselves, will be the best that they can receive in the moment. This is the thing. This is a room full of healers and teachers and uplifters. In other words, that's who you for the most part are. You not only want to know how to create your own reality, but you want to be of value to others as well. And we want you to understand that you've got to find your own alignment first, and you've got to have practiced it until you know you can be there often and easily before you attempt to help someone else. Because when you get into an attitude of service, which means you're looking for something that's broken, that needs to be fixed, or looking for something that needs to be uplifted, when you are looking in those directions like a normal human, then you don't have your superpowers. There's so much leverage in alignment.